Deliver our souls from death, Lord. Keep us from famine, Lord. Our soul now waits for you. For you are our help, and you are our shield. For our hearts shall rejoice in you, Lord, because we have trusted in your holy name. And now in the city of Monrovia and for this great country, Lord, let your mercy be upon us, just as we hope in you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Please rise. Right hand over your heart and begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I was going back there. I missed in convening our meeting. I wanted to do that in honor of a new baby, Vivian Starling McCoy, born June 18th, to our Community Services Commissioner, Nicole McCoy, and to her husband, Josh. So welcome, Vivian Starling McCoy. It's always fun to start the meeting on a high note like that. Okay, then roll call, please.
Council members Belden,
Here.
Jimenez.
Here.
Spicer.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly and Mayor Shevlin.
Here. May we please have a report of the closed session, Mr. Steele?
Thank you, Mayor. Prior to the meeting this evening, the council met in closed session with regard to the two items on the posted agenda. All members of the council were present. The council took a report, gave direction to staff, and took no reportable action.
Thank you. And then moving on, then our presentations and proclamations. PR1 is recognition of outgoing library board member Mark Harvest, who is here, and then also Planning Commissioner Bill Sheaf. Do we have any staff presentation on this? Right, I know he's not here. Okay, well, Mark, come on up. And Mark, how long had you been on the, oh, it actually has a date on here.
Okay, 12 years.
2013 to June 2025. I'm going to read the plaque. Board Member Mark Harvest, in appreciation and recognition of your dedicated service, the Monrovia City Council gratefully acknowledges your generous support and vital input on the Monrovia Library Board, July 2013 to June 2025, dated this first day of July 2025. And I just want to thank you. I know I was the liaison to the library board for many years, and it was always a pleasure to meet with you and the rest of the board members. But you've been a very valuable member of the library board, and I know you're not going anywhere either because you're you're a CERT volunteer. But would you like to say anything this evening?
Briefly, being on the board for 12 years was really just a great experience for me. I got to work with Dr. Kelly, got to work with you, and just everybody else, one time or another. So, looking at things that have been important to me in my life, this has really been one of them. And I just thought after 12 years, it was time to give somebody else a chance. So that's why.
Well, thank you, and I know you've been a part of many of the great decisions in the planning and programs that our library, they're just rock stars over there so far as I'm concerned, and you were a part of that. So can we come down and
I hope so.
Tamala, would you like to say anything? I know you work with them.
Yes, as I shared with Mark at our last meeting, Mark has been a joy. I mean, he shows up at every event with a smile on his face, love in his heart. He's been dedicated, focused, and he's been a real leader on the library board and has left a legacy with those that are following in his footsteps. And so we are very grateful for you, Mark. You have been a blessing.
So now we'll come down and take a pic. And we would have honored also Bill Sheaf, who is now retired from the Planning Commission, and so, but he could not be here this evening. But we also thank Bill for his years of service as well on the Planning Commission. Moving on then, PR2 proclaiming July 2025 as Parks Make Life Better Month. And our staff that's presenting is Rebecca Sandoval, Recreation Manager. So Rebecca, we do have and I see you've got a whole team there behind you that are going to be receiving this proclamation, but let me read it here. Whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of our communities, and whereas Parks and Recreation nourishes our community through programming such as summer concerts in the park, senior outings, contract classes, youth programming, indoor recreational spaces, nature and wildlife educational programming, and whereas Parks and Recreation promotes outdoor activities and nature, which positively improves mental well-being, increases cognitive performance, improves physical health, and reduces stress and anxiety. And whereas Parks and Recreation offer our community a safe space to access nature, resources, socialize, play, exercise, recreate, learn, and relax. And whereas Parks and Recreation strengthens our community's sense of place and increases cultural cohesiveness, and whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community, now therefore, I, Becky Shevlin, Mayor of the City of Monrovia, California, along with the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim July 2025 as Parks Make Life Better Month, and encourage all residents to use and enjoy our parks and recreational opportunities dated this first day of July 2025. How timely. So, Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Mayor Shevlin and council members. We are beyond thrilled, and the team over at the Community Center, thank you so much for the support. As you can imagine, we are beyond excited and thrilled to kick off this month. We are proud to partner with you and also the community to celebrate this statewide campaign. We want to just let the community know that the Parks Make Life Better Month highlights the vital roles that recreation plays in our town, from promoting health and wellness to building stronger and more connected communities. This is a great reminder for all of us to visit our local parks that have made a huge impact on all of us. Maybe it's where you played when you were a young child, or you take your children now. Maybe it's taking peaceful walks on your break or after work. It might be gathering with loved ones at a facility or in the parks, or just find a moment of quiet to find that joy in your life. We are proud to connect our community to our parks, and we're proud to connect our community with each other. At this time, I want to introduce Haley Villalobos, which is our recreation coordinator, and Damian Lopez, our recreation specialist, who have special guests here to help us accept this proclamation.
Good evening, Mayor Shevlin and council members. Tonight, I am excited to be here with our Monrovia Youth Commission to accept this year's proclamation. July is the perfect month to be celebrating Parks Make Life Better Month, and we're excited to offer recreation activities for everyone, including summer concerts in the park, our 4th of July concert and fireworks show, movies in the park, summer contract classes for all ages, the much anticipated reopening of Canyon Park, and Monrovia Spot. You can find more details on these and other exciting programs in the Monrovia Today or by calling us at the Community Center. Tonight, we're honored to have Youth Commissioners Fiona Overhoff, Rodney Martinez, Chloe Jang, Claire Jang, Michelle Perez, Edward Earhart, James Earhart, Valentina Earhart, to accept this year's proclamation. We invite everyone in our community to participate not just this month, but all year long. Thank you for celebrating Parks Make Life Better Month.
All right.
All right. We're going to come down then and we'll take a picture.
Take a picture.
Okay, at this time, on our order of business, Ms. City Manager, are we bringing one?
I know the item that I would request at this time, Mayor Shevlin, is if we could move our Councilmember Jimenez under RCC 2 has a request. He had an item that he wanted to bring to you related to MOPEG and a recommendation that they have for the city to just consider in the future. So I recommend we take report of City Councilmember Jimenez at this time, followed by the consent calendar, if that be okay.
Okay, Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I had the honor and privilege of attending a MOPEG, Monrovia Historical Preservation Group meeting, where the subject of bungalow courts, which were a part of Monrovia's past, but they really are an opportunity for Monrovia's future. And today, members of MOPEG are here in the audience. Would you please stand up? Thank you for being here. They would like to make a presentation on bungalow courts, and I want to remind the audience that this is something that was near and dear to a former council member's heart. Gloria Crutchington really believed that this part of Monrovia's history would really guide us in the future on what direction Monrovia should take in its housing. So I would ask that the representative from OPIG please come forward and do a presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, Fred.
Okay,
You might want to introduce yourself to the group.
will do. Madam Mayor, City Council members, City Manager, I'm Fred Wasson. I'm a member of the Board of MOPEC, and we have a statement. Fortunately, it's short, but we have a statement about bungalow courts. On Sunday, April 27th, 2025, the following statement was voted on and unanimously approved by the Board of Directors of the Historic Preservation Group as an endorsement of bungalow courts as a desirable residential land use in general, and as an endorsement to the city of Monrovia as an effective and historically preferred land use to our community's current affordable housing problem. And the statement reads as follows. The Monrovia Historic Preservation Group recognizes that, like most of Southern California's communities, the city of Monrovia has a shortage in housing, and specifically affordable housing. Sometimes answers can come from the past. Thank you. Bungalow courts are a residential land use that supplies the right amount of density while maintaining a higher quality of life at a more affordable price. Whether as rental units or as owned single-family houses, bungalow courts were originated over 100 years ago within the San Gabriel Valley and can still meet human needs at a human scale. MOHPG endorses the adoption of bungalow courts by the city of Monrovia as one of its preferred residential land uses and as one of the solutions to our current affordable housing shortage. And that's our statement. And good photos. Good job.
The one that's in the lower left-hand corner there, where is that one? I'm not recognizing that one.
It's by the post office.
Oh, okay.
And then I believe, I don't know if my glasses are calibrated for this, but I believe the lower right-hand side
Is
is
the
the
new
more
one.
recent one on Mountain View, which local developer built.
And that was on the recent home tour.
Exactly
May.
right. And I believe that was two standard-size residential lots that now accommodate 6 separate units. So instead of 2 houses, it's now 6. And that's a good example of the density that bungalow courts can afford. So anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Sergio?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, I would like to continue my other reports I have.
Why don't we do it, and we'll just put it in the mix when we do
All
all
right,
of ours.
will do. Thank you.
Okay. All right, then we are moving on then to our consent calendar, which are items CC1 through CC15. Was there anything that needed to be pulled, or are there any questions? If not, the consent calendar is considered ordinary in business and can be entertained with one enacted by one motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second, then without objection, then so approved. We are now moving then to our public input section. And I want to thank you all for coming this evening. This is your time to provide input on items not on our calendar this evening. And Madam Clerk, did we have any requests for public comment on items not on our agenda?
Yes, beginning with Barbara Golar.
Barbara? Looks like you got a crew with you tonight.
Yes, we do. And I'm so excited. First of all, good evening, Mayor and City Council and staff. It is so interesting that what we just had in, speaking of Gloria, I'm gonna do this. That with all of us here, KGEM, our ambassadors, we won a hometown award, and that award was actually, it was the Gloria Crutcheston recognition, and that's the award, the hometown award that we won. And so we just thought that it would be so nice for us to come here to share that with all of you and the city. And so that's why we're here, and we have the plaque. So if it's okay, that we would actually like to take a picture, that
Well,
also
of course.
that you'll also have to put in her little folder and things. And so,
All right.
yeah.
Any other comments?
David, you want? Yes. I got really nervous about it, and excited at the same time, just because of what they just said. So I thought, oh my goodness, we're right in sync.
Yeah.
Anyway, David.
The timing was perfect.
Perfect.
Good evening, Mayor and
Hi,
City
David.
Council and City Manager, council members. Name is David Palomars. I'm the Executive Director of Community Media of the Foothills, KGEM-TV. I'm here with some of our board members and staff, community volunteers, Barbara Golar, of course, you've already seen, Fred Wasson, Sheila Spicer-Batiste, and my better half, Monica Palomars. I'm thrilled to share some great news with our community tonight. Last week, one of our very own videos won a prestigious Hometown Media Award from the Alliance of Community Media. These awards recognize the most creative programs that address community needs, foster diverse community involvement, and offer a fresh perspective on television. This year, the award for community events was presented to our very own Gloria Crudgington recognition video. So this is the thumbnail if you go see the video. We produced this video for the city of Monrovia that highlights some of Councilmember Gloria Crudgington's remarkable accomplishments and was part of her recognition at the March 19th, 2024 City Council meeting. You can watch this award-winning video right now on KGEM-TV YouTube channel. And while you're there, please subscribe. We also be sharing the direct link to it on all our social media platforms starting tomorrow. With nearly 1,000 submissions for this year's Hometown Media Awards, we are incredibly proud that this video was selected. Its recognition is a testament not only to the talent of our team, but also, and most importantly, to the exceptional contribution of a truly amazing human being, Gloria Crudgington. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll come down then and take a picture then with the plaque.
That'd be wonderful.
And can we, on the video, can we embed that in one of your updates so it can be shown through that venue as well?
Perfect. Someone want to hold this? Hold this
I
too?
think this is great.
Yeah, it worked out. Come on. Come on. Oh, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Well, that is very special. Okay.
Next up is Aria.
Madam Mayor, members of City Council, city staff, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Aria, I'm 13 years old, and I'm visiting from NorCal. For me, biking is a part of everyday life. My parents and many of my peers' parents have enough trust in the safety of roads to let us bike to school and other activities. Every day I bike alone or with friends to school, the library, and swimming, giving me independence and a freedom that others don't have. On weekends, I bike to a nearby boba shop or meet up with friends, both of which I love to do. And biking really opens up many opportunities to connect with peers and enjoy the neighborhood. I want other people to enjoy what I enjoy and have the opportunity to experience the joy of biking safely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Rebecca Butler.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, city staff, city manager, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Rebecca Butler, and I'm here to support a safer, more walkable and bikeable Monrovia. I am not asking anyone to give up their car, but I am asking you to prioritize the safety and comfort of those who get around without one. Every trip someone takes by foot, bike, or transit reduces pollution, congestion, and wear on our streets and makes all of us safer. When I first moved to SoCal, I chose my apartment based on bus access. But eventually, like so many others, I had to buy a car for work. I hated getting behind the wheel after 2 people I knew were killed by wrong-way drivers. and I hated how much of my very limited income it took. I recognize that the car is absolutely a useful tool, but we must make life less dependent on it. I love Monrovia. It's quiet, historic, and charming. As the city grows, and I commend you for addressing the housing crisis, we sometimes hear pushback about housing developments, but that pushback isn't really about people. We have plenty of room here for more Monrovians. The pushback is because people hate congestion, and cars, not people, cause congestion. If we want to preserve what makes Monrovia special, we need to make it easier and safer to move without a car. Driving is the second biggest household expense after rent. Making Monrovia less car dependent would help far more families than any housing project. And no one should have to risk their life walking, biking, or using a wheelchair just because they can't afford a car. And safety does not come from paint. Duarte Road has sharrows that ostensibly encourage biking, but that road is terrifying to ride. I would not let my goddaughter ride on it. Colorado has a painted bike lane, and yet we all see the routine aftermath of hit and runs into parked cars. Paint is not protection. Car crashes are the leading cause of death for young people in the U.S., and there have been far too many preventable deaths in the region recently. We've been lucky not to have too many tragedies within our city limits, but please don't wait to act. I've been told by Safe Routes to School advocates to be ready to advocate for safe routes to school when a child is hurt getting to school. Not if, but when. Let's not wait for that moment. We hope drivers make perfect decisions, but we all see them distracted, tired, or impaired. The fewer miles we travel by car and the slower we travel, the safer everyone is. The safer people feel moving between transit and downtown, the better our charming Old Town shops will do, and the fewer dangerous and costly miles residents will put on their cars. On a brighter note, walking and biking build connection, which is so critical in these fractured and isolating times. I know my neighbors better because I walk. I see friends when I bike. And if you want to see pure joy, join a bike bus to school. I want more kids and families here to feel that same freedom that my goddaughter just spoke about. And so I'm closing with two asks. So first of all, I greatly appreciate the work on the Comprehensive Safety Action Plan, the Bicycle Master Plan, and the ACTV project design contract that's on the agenda today. But plans alone are not protection. Protection only comes with funding and implementation. And two, in future budgets, dedicate regular funding to walking and biking infrastructure as some other cities do. Safety should not depend on a grant. Monrovia is a welcoming place, and I encourage you to make it welcoming for everyone. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Seems to me we've seen her someplace before. Do we have any other requests or public comment?
Ann Motkin.
Everyone, Mayor and City Council and everyone. I guess I wanted to emphasize a few things and playing a little bit upon the recent conversation about, alternative transportation. I guess my image somehow is to have more times and more opportunities for the streets to be closed off to cars. Like in other words, we have that for Friday market. Isn't there a way to do it maybe, I don't know, on a Sunday for certain areas that can provide protection for people who, I myself am a walker, and I, of course, am an avid bicyclist, but I've been afraid to get back on a bike given all the, the potential problems with competing with cars. But I would encourage creativity with maybe the city council to come up with some other opportunities for there to be carless times when we can block part of the streets off. And I guess the other thing I was hoping to address, I've spoken many times about the issues of the question of affordable housing, and I guess what I wanted to emphasize is two things. One is I think we need to provide more incentives for affordable housing, to actually, be, how would I say, creative in the sense that maybe incorporate parks, maybe incorporate trees. Let's find also creative ways to bring beauty to our city with the affordable housing. This is one thought I have. And secondly, the sort of downside perhaps is just that I think we do have to have at some point a penalty when certain housing developments leave people in a kind of slum condition. And I guess I'm referring specifically to where I live at 105. But unfortunately, I guess when there aren't specific requirements, maybe that leaves the window open for certain landlords that don't have the conscience to create better housing. And maybe we could close that loophole by creating some sort of penalty structure. This is just a thought that I had. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Sylvia Hatfield.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This was not planned, but I came here for some information and for some guidance, and your front desk was really nice this morning, and they said you were going to have this meeting. So my concern is, or guidance for the peacocks. It's not the peacocks' fault. I think it's the humans that feed them. And in our block, we have a whole lot of peacocks. And we just had a whole beautiful 5 new peacocks. So it's not that I want them to go away. I want us to educate our neighbors not to feed them. I volunteer at the Arboretum.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
And they
Go
have
ahead.
signs, obviously, not to feed them, and, they have diseases and stuff like that. Is that a possible thing that we can do? I'm willing to help. I'm willing to help educate. I've already called the Humane Society. I already called one other place, the USA Fish and Wildlife. So they're not protected because they're not.
And Sylvia, I'm just going to explain it. This is public comment, and we can take your comments, but we can't have a dialogue.
Oh.
It's not on the agenda, but I definitely hear what you're saying, and I'm sure that we can make connections
That's
with,
what I would
with
love,
staff, the proper staff.
Okay, that's exactly, because I came kind of just wanting some information. That would be perfect. Thank
Great,
you.
thank
for
you.
your time.
All right, I had a timer set. It didn't, I wasn't timing you. I had a timer set and it went off, so I apologize for that. Anyone else wanting to address the city council on any items not on our agenda? Okay, not seeing any, I will close that portion of our meeting, and did somebody say it? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Come forward. And if you could please provide your name.
My name is Salud, and I'm here to ask you a few things about the train station.
And Salud, I'll explain the same thing that I did to Sylvia that was just here. We'll take your comments, but we are not able to have a dialogue. If there's something that we can help you with
It's gonna be
staff.
sure. I'm
Okay.
not gonna stay long.
Okay.
I'm gonna be sure.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing is about the train station, how come you don't open the bathroom every time when we go for a walk over there, and then we see the bathroom solo times closed, and then if it's an emergency, I have to hurry up, or either if I'm going for a walk with my friend or another. We usually go for a walk, few friends over there, and then like emergencies, there's emergency in the bathroom solo time is closed over there. How come you don't open the bathroom? Can you give me a reason?
I tell
why?
you what, Tina Cherry is here, our Director of Community Services, and she could meet them back and she could discuss that with you, okay?
Who?
Tina Cherry. She's our Community Services Director. Again, this is public comment. We can take your comments and input, but we cannot have a dialogue.
And then I saw another, I forgot my paper. I wrote some questions, but I forgot at home.
Well, maybe
But
when you're talking,
I have some more questions.
well, maybe when you're talking to Ms. Cherry,
Okay.
you'll be able to remember.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any others wanting to speak on public input? Okay, not seeing any, then we will close that portion of our meeting, and we will move on then to our public hearings, and that's PR1, Updated Local Responsibility Area Fire Hazard Severity Zone Map, dated March 24th, 2025. And we have our Fire Chief, Jeremy Sanchez, here to present.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Shevlin and council. As you're aware, on June 17th, we introduced ordinance number 2025-08 for the updated fire hazard severity zone maps in our local responsibility area and set the public hearing for today. Tonight's public hearing is to provide an opportunity for public comment regarding the updated local responsibility area fire hazard severity zone map dated March 24th, 2025, before the final adoption of ordinance 2025-08. At our last council meeting, a presentation provided a background of the procedures of the LRA fire hazard severity zones, state minimum requirements established per fire hazard severity zones, fire hazard severity zone insurance impacts, and what our next steps will be. As previously discussed, the Office of the State Fire Marshal began a four-phased approach started in early 2025, and then on March 2024, or March 24th, 2025, the maps were released, showed there on the screen. What you see there is you see a yellow, an orange, and a red. The yellow depicts the moderate, the orange depicts the high, and the red depicts the very high. As you know from previous maps, we've previously only had the very high, and then now we have the three zones, which was designated by Government Code 51178, that indicated that the zones had to be established in the three areas of the moderate, high, and the very high. The designations are based on a consistent science-based model that evaluates fire likelihood and behavior of using factors such as fuel load, slope, fire behavior, fire history, potential flame length, and ember spread. Under Government Code 51179, local agencies must adopt these maps as moderate, high, or very high within 120 days, which sets for us, because they were released on March 24th, sets us for July 22nd to meet the actual requirement. As you see in this slide here, you see the breakdown of Monrovia and what the impacts it has for us. We never had the high and the moderate before. Obviously, we've always had the very high. So if you see the difference there in the parcels, you see in 2008, we had 1,459. Here, we have a little bit of an uptick in our very high, and then the high is 619 and the moderate is 754. To ensure a smooth and effective implementation of the updated fire hazard severity zone map, staff will proceed to take the following steps. We'll continue to do our public outreach through all fire hazard severity zone areas, through workshops and areas identified in our last meeting. Defensible space inspections, which are currently taking place, will be continued. A collaboration with community development to ensure the updated regulations are applied to the correct parcels. The safety element will be updated to include new fire hazard severity zone maps, and the municipal code will be updated to address the new defensible space requirements. So with that, following tonight's public hearing, council options are option 1, adopt ordinance number 2025-08, thereby adopting the updated local responsibility area fire hazard severity zone map dated March 24th, 2025. Option 2 is request additional information before taking action.
Great, thank you. Any questions of the chief? This is a public hearing, and so I will open the public hearing at this time and ask if there's anyone wanting to speak on this item for, against, or comment. Not seeing anyone, I will close the public hearing and come back to the city council. Are there any questions or comments? I did just have one question. Oh, go ahead.
I have a
Sergio.
question. How do these maps, how do they affect, or do they affect the insurance that people pay for fire protection on their homes? What role do these maps play?
So these maps identify a hazard and really not a risk. Insurance is based off of the risk models. These maps identify the hazard. A hazard, much like a flood zone, you can't really get away from. The hazard will exist, but a risk can be limited through actions taken through defensible space requirements, through home hardening that will take place through individual homeowners. So insurance agencies already use those risk models and have their own model that's established that homeowners can take to reduce their homeowners' insurance impacts.
Okay, thank you.
And I do know there was part of the report that it would increase staff responsibilities, and there would be somewhat of a fiscal impact on that. Do we know what that might
So-
be in terms of inspections and?
For, currently, the inspections that were handled through our intercompany inspections won't have a fiscal impact. We will have an additional inspections in our high area, but that is due to AB 38 requirements, which requires any home that is sold within the last, to have a past defensible space inspection within the last 6 months. We currently do have a fee schedule for that, and we recover the cost for that inspection.
And so that's upon a sale?
Yeah, so if a home is sold, it has to have a past inspection within the last 6 months. So let's say our inspection is done July 1st. For the next 6 months, they're good if a home sells within that area. But say February 1st, the home was going to sell, we go out, perform an inspection, provide that pass, so they have to do any sort of improvements, and then they're able to sell that home.
So it's not a proactive inspection like you would do in the very high area? This is only upon the sale of a house in the high fire zone?
Correct. Now, a homeowner can reach out to us and have us come out and give input and to make sure that the sale goes smoothly. But otherwise, the agent will work with us, or the homeowner will work with us, request the inspection, and we'll respond out there to inspect.
To piggyback kind of on what Sergio was asking, would an insurance company ask you to do that?
The insurance will go out and do their own inspection of the home. And a lot of times when we go out to do our inspections, homeowners will advise us that an insurance company actually, some of their requirements are more stringent based on the things they ask them to do, much like the home hardening things, or like we talked last time, some of the Zone 0 requirements. The insurance companies are actually already implementing that on their side.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds good. So do we have?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2025-08.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Can we please have a roll call vote?
Council members Belden?
Yes.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Spicer?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly?
Yes.
Mayor Shevlin?
Yes. And with that, did you have to read anything this time? Okay. Then thank you very much on that. Thank you, Chief. Yes, there you are. Thank you. Okay, then moving right along, we are at the reports of our city manager and staff. Mr. Feek.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. First, I'd like to thank the council for allowing me to be absent at the last city council meeting. It was a wonderful opportunity to spend time with my family in Alaska, but also to celebrate my grandmother and grandfather who passed away earlier this spring. We're very grateful to be able to spend time with family, with friends. I reminded them that we closed multiple city council meetings in their honor, and so. But it's nice to be back and still catching up.
Yeah, well, Lauren did a great job.
She did. I asked her if she'd like to continue, and so I wouldn't have to be here this evening, and she declined.
We weren't that bad.
But it's always wonderful to work with an amazing team. Or I feel like I can step away, and Lauren and the team did wonderful. But I was itching to get back because I like being on this team. For this evening, I'd like to give a couple updates. These are some items we've been working on over the last month that I haven't been able to brief council or the public on. I think they're important. First, we're very excited to finally begin work on Peck Road and Mountain Avenue. Crews will be mobilizing next week. We are coordinating our work with the cities of Irwindale, with Los Angeles County. Cal American Water is also completing some work down there related to their projects. But we expect the project to be, both sections of roadway to be completed by November. So it's a very fast timeline for us. We're going to be doing a lot of pavement on two very complicated sections of roadway. But we're very excited to finally repair some of these most deteriorated streets remaining within the city of Monrovia. I'll be sending an email update to City Council with additional information. Want to make sure that Council, if you have any questions, concerns, we're certain residents are going to be reaching out to you. I want you to feel free to contact either Alex DeCicchi or myself if you have any questions. I received word from the City of Bradbury regarding the Lemon Avenue Reservoir project. I'll be providing an update to area residents. At this time, Cal American Water is no longer going to pursue that project. So they are going to essentially table it. The city of Bradbury has canceled all future public hearings. We don't expect it to go forward at this time. Whether it returns down the road or in a different format, it's possible, but I'm very excited. I know residents will be very excited when I share that news. I wanted to make sure the council heard first. Today I was notified that last week the city's contracted service provider for our utility bills, Bridgecom, they had a technology snafu and bills were delayed being sent to the printer by about 5 days. That's going to impact residents and the timing when they receive their utility bills. So we're responding to questions. We're making sure everyone is aware of that delay. We're going to waive all late payments and penalties and all that. It really isn't a significant issue, but some residents expect their bills to arrive at a certain time each month, and we want to make sure that we're communicating when it doesn't. We'll include a little piece in the weekly city manager's update.
And on your update, will there be one this Friday?
Yes, correct. We'll have it all prepped and ready to go, and we're going to do it a little bit in advance so that we can all enjoy the holiday as well.
Okay.
222 East Cypress, while it's been fairly quiet at the city council level, we've been working quite a bit behind the scenes to secure the property, to begin cleanup, both inside the structure but also on the grounds. We've also worked with the COG to determine our project partner who's going to help us with the conceptual design and the planning for the project. Studio 111 is the preferred contract partner. They were kind of selected by the COG to be one of the slate of professionals that could help with housing considerations. What we're really excited about is the tools they shared related to their historic structure report, that just seeming to understand that the city of Monrovia wants to have flexible options when considering this project. They're going to help us come up with some concepts, some designs that we can share with the city council. We'd expect September and October and possibly even November to be coming back to city council for your input and engagement. And so we'll make sure to share information with community members, what we call stakeholders, and potential partners of the project. But really it's helping us and helping the council decide what is it really we want to do here, and then kind of to develop a plan moving forward. I don't like to surprise city council, but sometimes I think it's appropriate. One of the fun surprises, and based on comments earlier tonight, Alex Tachiki shared with me earlier today that he has the city of Monrovia wrote a $1 million grant for Metro to do pedestrian improvements, including bike improvements along Colorado Boulevard and throughout the city of Monrovia. And we just received confirmation yesterday afternoon that Metro approved the award and will be receiving $1 million. $1 million. Yeah, we'll confirm. Maybe it was $1 billion, but we're just happy. We're just happy to have the money, and I think it's exciting. The goal is to create more pedestrian connectivity within Monrovia, so we're very excited to do that. Also, if I could, we all know who Buffy Bullis is. Buffy, would you mind just giving us a quick, wave in the back? I received word that the Government Finance Officers Association is recognizing Buffy as a 2025 Outstanding Public Service Award recipient. This national organization of nearly 20,000 government finance professionals, currently holding their annual conference right now, is recognizing Buffy, but also, and perhaps more importantly, the entire administrative services team for all of their work and effort related to the data loss incident we had last year. It was a very significant incident. Not many cities have had to go through that, but it was quite a recognition, I think, for all the work they did helping us recover. At an upcoming city council meeting, we'll be briefing the city council. We are just a few additional phone calls away from finalizing an agreement with our contract partner, with their insurance company, that is going to kind of codify that the city will be made 100% whole financially for that data loss. So we're really excited, not just for the recovery, but even making sure that the city has been fully reimbursed, and even has some additional services and benefits moving forward. I think it's just it's unfortunate that it happened, but I think we've recovered well. I think we're better now, and I think we'll even have some better tools to assist us moving forward. That's my report this evening. Thank you.
Any questions of Dylan? All right, great. Okay, then we're moving along to our reports of city council members and subcommittees. And so what? We'll start off with you, Sergio, and you can finish your report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Monrovia is a beacon for new businesses. It's a very attractive, beautiful city. We all know that, but the business community knows it oh so well. I had the pleasure of attending the Chamber of Commerce sponsored grand opening for the San Fernando Coffee Company, which is located right here in the Vons Shopping Center. And it wasn't just a grand opening, it was a celebration of business here in Monrovia with a DJ, with a car show, delicious food, coffee, and vendors. It was vendors to the degree they looked like some of the vendors that we see at the Friday night street fair. I want to congratulate the Nunez family for coming to Monrovia, welcoming them, and we hope that that line of new businesses that are coming in Monrovia just continues to come. And I wanted to also say what a wonderful celebration of Monrovia we had at the Monrovia Canyon Park grand opening. It was an emotional day, and I know our mayor, Madam Mayor, you became emotional, and you were right to become emotional. It was emotional for everybody there. 5 years in the wait, 5 years in the making, getting the funding together, through fires, through floods. Monrovia came back, and the park is now open for the public. So I just wanted to say thank you to all the staff here in Monrovia that worked so hard, not just for the grand opening, but really to bring back our park and to bring back our residents so we can celebrate the new renovated nature center, the new renovated picnic areas, the new amphitheater, and the new outlook with viewfinders, the new greenhouse, and the additional parking. It looks stunning. So I just want to say thank you to all those that were present, and welcome to everybody. Our park is open. Thank you.
Great. Mr. Belden?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, I know at last meeting I had a chance just to remind us all to take a chance to get to know your neighbors, and there have been event after event after event in Monrovia, and it's in full swing, so plenty of chances to do that. On June 21st, Saturday, it was about 2 Saturdays ago, I had a chance to enjoy a summer solstice celebration at our community garden with Food Ed and meet more of our local pollinators and the importance of them, and have a chance to learn how you can do more at your own house, and always great information that they provide and share. And of course, they were also letting young kids release ladybugs, something similar to what we did a few more weeks later. And of course, that night there was map block party, and I'm sure maybe one of else will. Many of you were there, and it was just a great event to see all of our neighbors come together and just learn more from the other organizations that give back so much. And I always learn more about some other organization. This time I learned a little bit more about our amazing trailer that you can rent, of course, the map block party trailer. I didn't know that all the games that were, or almost all the games that were out there were actually in the trailer itself. So now I need to go plan a block party so I can use those at my own house with friends, of course, and neighbors. And on Sunday, June 22nd, there was the Mission and Mission that I think, Mayor, you mentioned during our event. It was spectacular. If any of you had a chance to get out there, it's an active street event that was from South Pasadena to San Gabriel, and about 5 miles. And I don't know the numbers, but I'm going to say a few thousand of people there at least.
It was a lot.
It was huge, and just a great event, and I look forward to the day, as some of us said before, of the chance to have that going through Monrovia, and I think we might have a chance sometime soon to work with partners, of course, to do that. Summer concerts just coming to a close at Station Square, always a great time. Monrovia Garden Club was fantastic to see so many folks here, and just a celebration of what you can do in your own yard in the future and have some ice cream at the same time. And I think Madam Mayor was there with me as well at the Adrenaline Run Club for Pride Month, and a great celebration, amazing turnout right at Library Park, and ran out and spelled love is what the runners did. if anybody wants to look at their Strava feed for that. If you know what Strava is, you know. And of course, it was just spectacular to celebrate the opening of Canyon Park with everyone and to celebrate the amazing work that the city has done and all the contractors have done and the love and care you put back into that space and the chance just to get back to a park and explore and enjoy nature. So thank you so much, Madam Mayor.
Larry?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a reminder about the 4th of July concert and fireworks show at Library Park. The concert starts at 7 p.m. Fireworks will launch about 9 o'clock p.m. We're expecting big crowds, so please come early to claim your spot. Also, like Edward was saying, we're halfway through the summer, and beginning Sunday, July 6th, the concert series will move to Library Park for another 6 weeks of live music. This Sunday, OC Groove will be performing. They are a high-energy band playing funk music. Also, the Grand Park celebration was, as usual, the community services put on a heck of a party for 2 days, that Thursday and that Friday. The map block party, Sherry, I'd like to commend you on such a job well done. And finally, I'd like to show you a video. There's no popcorn, so I want everyone to just take a look at this dedication of the goal line. A couple of stations.
In late June 2025, local and regional elected officials from throughout the San Gabriel Valley, along with community members and the media, joined the Foothill Gold Line Construction Authority to celebrate the newly completed Metro A-Line stations in Laverne and Pomona. The two new stations are part of the 9-mile, 4-station Foothill Gold Line Light Rail project from Glendora to Pomona, which reached substantial completion on time and under budget in early January 2025.
Good afternoon and welcome to the culmination of nearly 2 decades of planning and work and labor. Today, hopes and dreams become reality as we dedicate the new Foothill Gold Line Pomona station, soon to be part of Metro's A-Line system.
Today marks the third of 4 major milestones for the Construction Authority. Days where we get to pause, reflect, and celebrate. Celebrate a shared dream that began over a decade ago, and today becomes real. Today's dedication, and the 3 other, are proof of what's possible when we persevere. And I am proud to say the authority now has completed 23 of the 25 stations entrusted to us.
Our investment in public transit is fundamentally about providing access. Access to jobs, education, medical appointments, social services, community, and so much more. For just $1.75, our Pomona residents will soon have access to a wealth of opportunities throughout the county.
The Pomona station will open up opportunities to young students, to our college students, to high school students, and to our seniors. And just wait till the 2028 Olympics. That's going to open up a whole new venue for this area.
When people hop on a train to go to a job interview, it is life-changing, and especially for those that never had the opportunity before. I also want to say to all those that built it, this brought such good union jobs, and I could only imagine what that meant for their families and their community. It means a lot to the past, those that built it, and it will mean a lot to those in the future that will continue to benefit from it.
In less than 40 years, Metro has not only rebuilt, but also expanded rail infrastructure across our region, giving Angelenos access to reliable, comfortable, safe, and equitable rapid transit. And with our partners at MetroLink, it's now possible to travel virtually anywhere in LA without needing to get behind the wheel. That's really transformative.
This segment from Glendora to Pomona is more than steel, rail, and concrete platforms. It represents good jobs, sustainability, and regional equity. It is a lifeline for our city. But we can't stop here. I'm committed to pushing this project across the finish line. From Pomona to Claremont to Montclair, let's finish the job and let's ensure that the Foothill Gold Line continues to deliver for the Inland Empire, for Pomona, and for generations to come.
Kiewit and Parsons have consistently provided excellent work for our region, building 3 Foothill Gold Line segments and now 23 stations from Union Station to Pomona, all on time and on budget. Directing 400 dedicated staff and specialized crew members, logging more than 2.6 million work hours over the last 5 years, completing this project with a wonderful safety record, and that should be applauded.
Let me begin by expressing my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for being here today. Your presence means a great deal, not just to me,
but to all of us who have been part of this incredible journey. From the unwavering support of our corridor cities to our elected officials at every level, and our invaluable partners at Metro, Metrolink, the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments, and more. From the leadership at the University of La Verne and the Fairplex, and to the many community members who showed up time and time again, you pushed it forward.
This project has been years in the making, and today marks the beginning of a new chapter for our community, one defined by greater connectivity, economic opportunity, and regional mobility. The project doesn't just serve us today, it lays the foundation for opportunities that will benefit future generations. This station connects us not only to each other, but to the broader Los Angeles County area. It enhances access to jobs, education, culture experiences, while helping us reduce congestion and our environmental footprint. It's more than a transit project, it's a bridge to the future.
When you have a project this big that has taken this long that will continue to be built, we're going to need all the funding we can get. I'm going to do everything I can at the state level to make sure that this gets finished on time and on budget. Congratulations on this big momentous occasion. I'll be with you until the end, and thank you for having me here today.
The dedication to this station marks a new era for La Verne, one that honors the past, meets the needs of today, and looks boldly toward the future. Today is a moment to be proud, not just because a rail line that now runs through town, but because the path that it's going to create for future generations. Whether you're a student commuting to class, a local business owner welcoming new visitors, or a longtime resident looking for a better way to get around, the station was built for you.
Thank you for your patience, flexibility, and support that allowed us to do what needed to be done. This project is about more than just transit. It's about connections. And today, because of all of you, that connection is stronger than ever between cities, communities, and people.
Since reaching substantial completion, the project was turned over to LA Metro, who is currently carrying out final preparations before passenger service can begin. LA Metro will soon announce the start date of passenger service, currently anticipated for later this summer. We can't wait to ride this new extension with you. To sign up for updates in your inbox, including when passenger service will begin, visit www.foothillgoldline.org. You can also follow the project on Facebook, Twitter, or iwillride.org.
So, Mayor, we're getting closer and closer to Ontario Airport, so. So that concludes my report.
I like that sped up version. They were. And I'm sure that we can, when we find out when the opening or it's actually operational, that we can include that too in our updates, let people
Yes.
know. But yeah, wouldn't it be nice if all those presentations went that fast?
Yeah, if we
Maybe
can
even
make
a council meeting. Okay, Tamala.
Well, I'm going to try to go as fast. Here's my report. No, it didn't go that fast. I'd like to acknowledge my colleague Larry for all your hard work with the Metro. You didn't mention that, but I know you've been working hard with that. So thank you for representing us in that. I had the privilege of going to SGV COG President's Reception, and there, the new president was installed, Ed Reese.
You saw him several times on
Yes,
that
he was
video.
there several times, and I also got confirmed as the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Game Ad Hoc Committee representative. So I get a chance to be a part of that and try to bring some money to Monrovia the best way I can in that time that I'll be serving. And Larry is a part of that as well. And the thing about Canyon Park, it's hard to even describe what we experienced on that opening. It was beautiful. It's one of the best openings I had ever been witness to, and that is largely because of the staff, the amazing staff. We had butterflies. We had an opportunity to just really have a private tour of Canyon Park, and everything was just done so excellently. And we have to thank the volunteers that worked tirelessly. Every time there was some sort of a disaster, the trail crew was up there, and when nobody was paying attention, when nobody was watching, when no one knew, they were up there with their own tools, doing their best to make sure the park stayed intact. So for that, we are very grateful for the volunteers and all their hard work. I would just add that regarding the Canyon Park, you know how when you have a house and you just got some new paint and maybe you got some new furniture, so you want to kind of act like it, right? So concerning the park, I want to make sure that when we go up there, that if we see something, say something, that we're taking care of the park the best way that we can, because it belongs to us, Monrovia, and so we want to take good care of Canyon Park. The other thing was, we had an opportunity to go to the Unity, the Foothill Unity Center that's been around so long, making sure that those who are struggling with food or housing insecurities, they've been really speaking to that and serving in that area. Well, there was a fundraiser, and we had an opportunity to partake in that and to go to that. Well, my colleague here talked about the ribbon cutting, but at San Fernando Valley Coffee, but he did not mention how many cookies, pastries. He tried everything, right, Sergio?
And what I didn't eat, you finished it, Tamala.
Yeah, I did. And so I think everything's good, right?
Everything's great.
Yeah, he tried everything. So, and then the last thing I wanted to make mention of, I really want to bring this to council. I was at the library board meeting, and Mark Harvest had mentioned something about our Public Works team, and I said, I want to take that to council and just give kudos to our Public Works. Well, at the museum, there was a leak at our museum, and it wasn't extensive damage, but there was some things that needed to be taken care of. There was a wedding that Saturday. So what would have taken 3 weeks to try to fix, because we had a wedding on Saturday, Public Works just went out of their way and worked nonstop to make sure that the museum was in tip-top shape. What would have taken 3 weeks, they gave that quote, they did in 1 week with excellence. And they worked nonstop. So I definitely wanted to, I said, I got to take that to council, because they said it to me, but I wanted to bring it and let Public Works know that we see you. So that's all I have.
Great, thank you very much. I was looking at my long list of things, and pretty much a lot of it has already been covered. We've been very busy in the last, since we last had a council meeting. I did want to mention, though, on June 20th, there was the San Gabriel Valley Economic Partnership Legislative Network, and that was at Hearst Ranch in West Covina. Really interesting location, and Sergio was there, and I know Edward, maybe it was just Sergio and myself were there?
Just you and I, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, and it was really nice. They had a lot of our legislators there from both federal, state, and local county. And in fact, Fiona, can't think of her last, the state treasurer. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
She was there. I'd never met her before, but she was there as well. So it was a real good chance, a nice chance to meet some of our legislators. And that was put on by the San Gabriel Valley Economic Partnership. I do have to say the opening of Canyon Park, I know it's been talked about a lot. It just was awesome. And like I said, I cried a little bit, and it really was emotional. But I've already gone on 2 hikes now, and I'm trying to get ready for the Fountain to the Falls, which is September 6th. It's been a long time since I went on that hike, and I gotta get in shape for that, so I'm going to be getting up there as much. Well, I'm going to have to do this in stages, From the fountain up to the park is one big uphill leg, and then from inside the park up to the falls. But really, just excellent. And Mark Harvest actually joined me on that first hike I had, and so Mark and I had a nice little hike. So,
Madam Mayor, I think you're reminding us that you're going to try to reclaim your trophy.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, there's a joke behind that. The last time in 2018, I think I got first place. In 2019, I got second place. But the thing is, it was only me and one other person that were in our age group. In fact, since then, I've moved into even a higher age group. So maybe just as long as I pull myself across the finish line, it'll be good. So I really look forward to that. So just remember, September 6th, a put your walking shoes on and start practicing. Hopefully you won't have to pick me up. I did want, Tamala mentioned the event at the Council of Governments just this last Thursday, and Sergio was there as well. And yes, Ed Reese that you saw in the film clip there several times with Metro, he is the chair of the Metro Gold Line. He is now the incoming president. He is the president now of the COG. Tim Hepburn then stepped down. He's the immediate past president. And me having been the immediate past president, they surprised me, and they also gave me some flowers and a little gift, and it was very nice. So had a great time at that as well. I did want to mention, going back to the park though, we are waiving the parking fee for about how long, Dylan? Have we decided how long?
We haven't decided, but for that, we've notified people just for the first several weeks.
I had to tell you, when I went at Saturday, our appointment was at 6. We got there at like 6:20 a.m. There were about 4 cars parked in the actual parking lot there by the kiosk, but there are a ton of cars on Canyon. So please try to avail of the free parking. Park up in the park. I know a lot of people like to take that extra walk in, but we're trying to be kind to our neighbors as well. So if you can, take advantage of the parking inside the park when you come to visit. I also had an opportunity to go on Saturday. I got a call from somebody I hadn't heard from in years, and they live on Highland Place, and they said they wanted me to come over for a block party they were having. It was their 3rd annual, but this year they used the block party trailer. I have to tell you, it was a home run. I understand, Larry, that's an idea you brought back from Noosa, and that was just an absolute joy to see how many people had come out. And you're right, all the games, they had chalk, they just had all sorts of stuff to play, and the tables and chairs. So if you're thinking about getting your neighbors together, please, please, please avail yourself of that great asset we have. And Sherry and Jocelyn and I, and a bunch of people at the event, were videoed for ABC News, and the guy was joking, and he said, but I think it was that was about right. 2 hours worth of video that'll be trimmed down to, like 30 seconds. But I understand you were then interviewed as well, Dylan?
I had a phone call waiting for me this morning, so I haven't responded to it yet.
Okay,
But I'll just say everything Becky said.
Yeah, and then it was supposedly it's going to air on the 7th, July 7th, and I don't know. My husband got a call today saying that they saw me on TV, but I don't know, maybe it was for something else. No, I don't know, but it was just great. I'm just telling you, if you're thinking about getting your neighbors together and you don't have the tables and chairs and things like that in games, go for it. It's just absolutely, and if you're worried about money, I understand based on need, there's a stipend of up to $250. So it's just all around a great thing. And this afternoon, Tamala and I attended the chamber. It was kind of like an open house, an unveiling of a collaboration between MAFA, Monrovia Association of Fine Arts, and the chamber offices, and they have now some art that's now displayed at the chamber offices. So we had a nice little reception there and enjoyed the art. And last but not least, I think I've covered all of it, but we had a Monrovia Day meeting to talk about to go over how things went, but put it on your calendar next year, May 14th through 17th, 2026. We're going to do it all over again. So at any rate, looking forward to seeing you all out on Friday for 4th of July. And if not, please have a very safe and sane 4th of July. Come and watch our fireworks. Don't be setting any off. I know you'll all behave. Okay, with that, one last thing, I did want to make a formal announcement. On Friday, I'm a part of a 9-member committee. It's the Los Angeles County Executive Committee on Regional Homeless Alignment. Catherine Barger was stepping down as the chair, and I was very honored for her to nominate me. So I am now the chair of that committee going forward. So I will be reporting back and letting you know how things are going. And then, so now I'm finished. I've talked enough. We already did that. Administrative reports, AR1, amendment to Title 13, Public Services, Chapter 13.04, Water Service of the Monrovia Municipal Code related to backflow enforcement. And we have our Public Works, oh no, I'm sorry.
Alex is giving me a chance at the mic.
Oh, well, very, very good.
Thank you. So my name is Victoria Rocha. I'm the Deputy Director of Public Works, but on the administration side.
Nice
so you all
to
know
see you, Victoria.
Todd, he's our operations guy. Thank you. I'm glad to be here, Madam Mayor and Honorable City Council. So I'm presenting today on just an amendment to Monrovia Municipal Code 13.04, which is our water services. Really, this is just administrative cleanup of our code that brings us compliant with state standards and also aligns us with some other departments. So these are already procedures that are in place, but we just have to reflect that in the code. So this will be the overview of what I'm discussing. We have our backflow prevention and enforcement, the definitions underneath that, our cross-connection program, new state compliance requirements, and then the other part of the code that we're updating is the minimum meter size for fire suppression, and then of course the staff recommendation. So cross-connection terminology. A cross-connection is the physical connection between potable water and non-potable water, or the point at which contamination could enter the drinking water. And so when backflow occurs, water runs backwards through your pipes and into the drinking water system. When this happens, the water flowing backwards could contain something that might contaminate the drinking water supply. Ultimately, all this is a change in water pressure that's called back siphonage or back pressure. And our staff works diligently to make sure that there's positive pressure in the system at all times. But obviously something can happen, such as fire suppression efforts are taking place, firefighting is taking place, and that will change the water pressure. And we want to prevent any sort of contaminants from, say, stagnant water that's in a fire suppression system in someone's house from getting into the potable water supply. So we have a cross-connection program here in the city, and it is the city's responsibility to protect its potable water system and comply with the California state regulations, including monitoring the installation, maintenance, and testing of backflow prevention devices. So that's Title 17 of the California Code of Regulations that has that. But I will note at the federal level, regulations went into place in 1986, and it's gone down to states from there. So most people who have backflow devices are very used to testing at this point and have been doing a great job of testing their devices and keeping our water safe. So really what's happened is as the new regulations have gone into place, which I'll get into next, we're just trying to capture that 20% of holdouts who maybe aren't testing or retesting when something fails. That number is fairly small. Properties that are at risk of cross connections that require a backflow device include multifamily residential properties, properties with fire suppression systems, properties with unique water connections, such as properties with rainwater harvesting systems, and then all new commercial properties. So we have 1,278 devices in the city. 20%, that's only about 256 devices that we're saying we have to meet the state to be 100% compliant, and so we need to just enforce on that small number. So the city has an annual contract with BSI for backflow prevention device management software, which is how we send out our letters and track, but all the rest of the maintenance is actually on the backflow device owner. So these are the new state compliance requirements. In December of 2023, the State Water Resources Control Board adopted the Cross-Connection Control Policy Handbook. Truly alphabet soup in public works, by the way. I'm fairly new in the public works space. I've been in other cities, but man, I never have seen so many acronyms until I got to public works. And so this requires 100% of backflow testing and prevention compliance. It also requires cities to have their own local cross-connection control program that reflects those state standards. So July 1st, 2024, The state level's CCCPH became effective and enforceable, but they gave cities a year to create their own handbook and put that into place. So that was due actually today, but our staff is, like I said, very diligent, and we submitted on June 16th, 2025. Contained within that was the proposed enforcement plan. So this is we send out notices, I should say, about 60 days saying you need to do this, you need to test your backflow devices, and how to do that. You get a registered tester, you use the BSI platform, and your tester then puts the results into that system. And then letters get sent out whether or not you, based off of whether or not you need to retest because you failed, or you didn't test at all. So 60 days to comply. If they don't comply, then a second notice will be sent giving the customer an additional 30 days. If there's still failure to comply, they'll get another letter with another 30 days. So they're really getting 4 months before we get to that point where we say, okay, we really have to reach that 100% compliance or the state can come fine the city. So what we are proposing is that Public Works staff will arrange for testing of the required backflow prevention device and then bill the customer for the cost of the testing and the administrative expenses. So that's for backflow. The other part of the code within 13.04 that we're looking at is the minimum meter size for fire suppression. So California Fire Code 903.2 requires all new buildings and structures have a fire suppression system. Then we also have the building codes for plumbing that talks about the minimum meter size that's required to make sure there's enough pressure in the line that if there has to be fire suppression efforts, water will actually do its job and suppress the fire. We just don't have that on the public works side in that title, chapter 13.04. So all we're saying is adoption of this ordinance will make sure that all 3 departments are aligned under a policy that we've always had, which is that 1-inch minimum meter to make sure there's enough water pressure.
Can I ask you a question about that minimum? I prepare a lot of budgets for subdivisions and things like that, and many times the meter is not a full 1 inch for residential purpose. Are you saying that all water meters for residential use would have to be?
Only for fire suppression, if they have a fire suppression system.
Oh, if they have a fire, okay.
Yes, so this is the only trigger is that fire suppression system for that minimum 1 inch because that's the required pressure that's going to be needed for fire suppression efforts.
Okay, gotcha.
So the recommendation by updating Title 13, Chapter 13.04, this will, 1, on the backflow side, bring the city into compliance with state regulations, and through that, we're being provided an enforcement mechanism to, again, get that tiny 20% holdout out of all the systems that have been doing this for decades. That's about 256 units, to make sure that we're keeping our water system safe. We just don't want those contaminants getting in. And then on the other side, it's bringing consistency to the plan review and meter installation process and ensuring adequate water flow and pressure with a defined minimum meter size for fire suppression systems. So we're not trying to be punitive in any way. We're just trying to get that small amount of compliance.
And so on the backflow, we're going to do the inspection and all that instead of them doing it on their own and then showing proof?
That's correct. So if they get to that 3rd notice, we're saying, you must not want to do it. So let us help you out because we want to make sure that we're compliant, and then we'll actually bill them for our services.
Okay, but they have initially, then they could do it on their own if they want to do it in a timely manner.
And they have 4 months to comply ultimately.
Okay. Any other
What's
questions?
the usual cost or assumed cost on our side, I guess, once we have to step in?
So let me pull that up. So the test cost per assembly is usually about $140, which includes the tests, the BSI filing fee, the contractor's admin fee, and then our city admin fee. So it's $140 for the test itself. If repairs have to be made, and sometimes that is the case, the owner of the backflow device will have the option of finding their own plumber, making those repairs on their own, and then retesting. But if they, again, say, city, you go ahead and do it, and then bill me, that can range anywhere between $500 and $900 depending on the make, model, and size of the device.
Any other questions? If no other questions, do we have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to introduce, waive further reading of, and read by title only ordinance number 2025-06.
A second.
Okay, can we have a roll call vote?
Council members Belden,
Yes.
Jimenez.
Yes.
Spicer.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly and Mayor Sheplin.
Yes.
Thank you for making my first time to present so easy.
Oh, it was great, Victoria, and I'm sorry I announced
No.
Alex before even looking up.
It was listed, so thank you.
And that's ordinance number 2025-06, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Monrovia, California, amending Chapter 13.04 of the Monrovia Municipal Code relating to backflow prevention devices in the city's public water system, and finding that the adoption of the ordinance is categorically exempt from review under the California Environmental Quality Act.
Thank you. Moving on then to AR2, Amendment to Monrovia Municipal Code, Chapter 12.32 Parks and Chapter 12.33 Hillside Wilderness Preserve to update the city's official list of designated parks and the city's park rules.
I'm going to
Who-
grab this
you're
one
doing
there.
that one.
I've been wanting to bring this ordinance forward for many, many months. It's exciting stuff, but I decided to wait until the first day of Parks Make Life Better Month
All right.
in order to do this, so here we are. This is an update to the city's 2 chapters on park rules. There's a confusing story as to why there are 2 chapters on park rules, but we won't waste your time with that now. But there is a set of rules for all the parks in the city, and then there's a set of kind of the same rules just for the Hillside Wilderness Preserve. So what we're doing with this particular ordinance is kind of in 3 buckets. One is to, it's really motivated by the addition of Suniishi Park, soon to be open, construction underway. We needed to add that park to the list of official parks in the municipal code, and then correct or update a couple of other parks to reflect changes in names over the years. So we've done that in this ordinance, and that means that all the park rules in the city will apply in Suniishi Park when it is open. Second, it sets the hours of operation for Suniishi Park, consistent with other parks in the city. And then what we've done is to try to make enforcement and make it easier for folks to know what the rules are. We've moved most of the Hillside Wilderness Preserve stuff into Chapter 12.32, which is the section that has all the park rules, because what we had were 2 sets of rules that mostly said the same things, but not the same way. And so we've made the language consistent. We've moved the vast majority of it over to the general park rules section, except for stuff that's only applicable in the HWP. That's really just an administrative step, and it's the reason that the ordinance, one of the department heads complained about the length of number of pages in the ordinance. It's really long because we're showing what we're taking out of the municipal code. That's duplicate stuff. And then the last part of it is there's an existing provision in the municipal code that prevents camping in public parks in the city. That's always been in the code since I've been around. But there's no definition of what camping is. There's no definition of what the time is. There's no definition really of rules, and no way to distinguish between somebody who's kind of taking a nap on a blanket in a park in the middle of the day and somebody who's actually camping in the park. It didn't really make much difference for a lot of years because under federal court precedent, we weren't allowed to enforce anti-camping provisions anyway, so we didn't, push that issue at all. Now, with the Supreme Court decisions late last year that overruled 2 Ninth Circuit cases that allow for cities to enforce anti-camping ordinances, we feel it's the right time to bring forward these definitions and make sure that our ordinance is enforceable, probably for 2 reasons. One is that other cities in the region are doing more to enforce anti-camping ordinances, which makes the possibility that people who are camping in one city and are forced out might come to another where the restrictions are less detailed. And the second is that what we're hearing in terms of anticipating big public events that are coming into the region over the next few years, the World Cup, the Olympics, the Paralympics, cities that have hosted those events have seen a lot of
visitors who expect to be able to come here and camp and stay for those events, and we want to make sure that we're prepared for that eventuality. So what this ordinance does is it provides for a more specific definition of what it means to be camping, as opposed to essentially relaxing in a park when it's open during regular hours. It prohibits some of the other activities that go along with camping, like digging trenches, like improving a site to make it more permanent, as well as tapping into utilities like water lines or electricity in the public parks, and prohibits that camping in any park between the hours of a half an hour after sunset to 6 a.m. the next day. So that's when what we're really using to define overnight camping is these activities within those hours. And that's really, again, intended to not interfere with people who are just using a park with a blanket or a chair or whatever. It's really the people who are moving in with tents and the implements of camping overnight. So that will be prohibited with more definition, more clarity, but it's already been prohibited in the code for quite some time. The newest enforcement mechanism that we've added in this proposed ordinance is the possibility that our enforcement folks could issue an exclusion order, which is essentially the same thing as what we call now a stay-away order in some criminal cases where, in this situation, if a person violates park rules or state law in a particular park more than twice in a year, that person can be issued an order to stay out of that park for a period of time up to 30 days. So it's really for that situation where a person is cited for camping, for example, told to move along, but comes back again in a short period of time, is cited again. The next time they violate the ordinance, they can be ordered to stay out of that particular park. This is an enforcement provision that's coming on now across the region. People are trying these orders. We recently adopted one in the city of Solvang about 2 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. There's an appeal provision. So if a person wants to appeal the exclusion order, there's the ability to do so. So the due process rights are protected before somebody is excluded from a park. And it also is a park-by-park kind of situation. So a person who violates rules in Grand Avenue Park or Lucinda Garcia Park is not barred from going to Sunaishi Park simply because of those violations. It's narrowly tailored to make sure that it doesn't impact people's general ability to travel throughout the city and use the different park facilities that are here. It's really aimed at trying to address a particular problem in a particular park and stop it from happening for a limited period of time. But it does include those due process rights. Otherwise, the ordinance, as always, is subject to our administrative fines process, as well as ultimately the police department can write misdemeanor citations for really serious violations of park rules, like smoking or building a fire up in Canyon Park or something like that. Those kinds of violations are occasionally prosecuted as misdemeanors. So that is the proposed ordinance that's before you, and be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Steele? Did we get any requests for public comment on this? Okay. If no questions, do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to introduce, waive further reading of, and read by the title only, ordinance number 2025-10.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we please have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Belden?
Yes.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Spicer?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly?
Yes.
And Mayor Sheplin?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's ordinance number 2025-10, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Monrovia, amending Chapter 12.32 Parks and Chapter 12.33 Hillside Wilderness Preserve of Title 12, Streets, Sidewalks, and Public Places of the City of Monrovia Municipal Code to add Satoru Tsuneishi Park and the Monrovia Hillside Wilderness Preserve to the list of designated parks, and to update restrictions applicable to city parks in accordance with current law.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, we're moving on then to AR3, adoption of affordable housing in lieu fees for eligible residential development pursuant to ordinance number 2025-03, and resolution 2025-34. And Sherry is going to present for us.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. It's so great that you do save the best for last.
Of course.
I am happy to report that what we're bringing to you this evening is the last step of putting together all the pieces for the Monrovia Inclusionary Housing Ordinance. Before you is your consideration of adoption of an in lieu fee resolution that's purpose is to establish the fee amounts that have been presented to the City Council during all the study sessions and the public hearing process that began on June 3rd. So as the council knows, this new inclusionary housing ordinance was really put in place as a planning tool to meet the city's RHNA requirement and expand affordable housing. And that ordinance was introduced on June 3rd, and it's set to go into effect on July 17th. Now, this slide highlights the requirements that were established in the ordinance for both ownership units and rental units. That ordinance also established the framework for an in lieu fee program that was applicable to all ownership projects and all rental projects that contained 20 or fewer units. So the fees that are proposed in the resolution for adoption are on this screen. You can see the per square foot fee is $29.40 for ownership projects and $24.50 for rental projects. That fee is based on the total sellable or leasable area of a project. It's based on gross floor area. It does not include any common area such as walkways, patios, common open space areas. These fees were established and based on that Kaiser Marston feasibility study, and this adoption is the last piece to formally, officially put those fees in place. The resolution also, in combination with the ordinance, establishes the framework on how those fees will be used and collected. If an eligible project takes advantage of this in lieu fee option, those fees would be collected prior to the issuance of a building permit. The revenue would be taken in and set aside in a separate fund and be used for the production, preservation, and rehabilitation of affordable units. And lastly, there's a stipulation in the resolution that would require that percent increase change, that the fee be adjusted annually based on the Engineering News Record Construction Index, and that's a very common tracking of construction cost over time. So it's a very common, useful means of adjusting this fee annually. So with that, I'd like to recommend that the City Council adopt resolution number 2025-34 to establish the affordable housing in lieu fees for eligible residential developments, and this is pursuant to ordinance number 2025-03, which was introduced on June 3rd and adopted on June 17th. So with that, that concludes my report, and I am happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions of Sherry? Edward? No? If no questions, do we have, we didn't have any requests for public comment. Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 2025-34.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Can we please have a roll call vote?
Councilmembers Belden.
Yes.
Jimenez.
Yes.
Spicer.
Thank you for this, Sherry.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly. Mayor Shevlin.
Yes.
That was fast.
Okay, all right. Well, Then we don't have any further items on our agenda this evening. And fortunately, we do not have anyone that we are adjourning the meeting in memory of, so that's always a good thing. And our next scheduled meeting is here in these chambers, Tuesday, July 15th, 2025 at 7:30 PM. And again, wishing you all the best on 4th of July. If you can't make it to our downtown, although I hope you can, you have a very safe and wonderful 4th of July. And with that, we are adjourned at 9:11 PM.
Yay.